So Fox Footy have done their predicted round 1 teams for 2024, and considering you've got 414 spots, that of course being the 23 multiplied by the 18 clubs, you're going to get some things wrong. We understand that. So when going through all of these teams, I wanted to make sure I wasn't being just nitpicky for nitpicky's sake. Disagreeing with something is not necessarily a bad thing and not something that you should show genuine disdain for, in my opinion. But these mistakes, these are beyond opinion. These are just wrong. Just straight up, flatly wrong. Now, are 6 out of 414 things something that will end the world tomorrow? No. But are these experts that are peddling these things? Yes, they are. So if we're going to hold players accountable for their mistakes, coaches accountable for their mistakes, umpires for their mistakes, content creators for their mistakes, outwardly wrong statements, of which I have made some on this channel, I will not hide from that. So, let's hold these organisations to their mistakes as well, because these 6 are egregious, and they need to be spoken about, so let's go. I'm going to start with an honourable mention here, only because I want you to understand what the difference between what I think a nitpicky opinion would be and something that's just outwardly wrong. And I want to start with Adelaide. So Chris Burgess on the bench, to me, I disagree with, because it makes no sense to put the leading VFL goal kicker of the last 2 years in the same side as Taylor Walker, Darcy Fogarty and Riley Thilthorpe, especially considering Thilthorpe is going to ruck when Riley O'Brien is not, and considering Riley O'Brien will not play forward, he will go from ruck to the bench. Thilthorpe will rotate through the middle and you go from there. Burgess' spot there is just an interesting one for mine. It doesn't quite look right. Now, you might sit there and say, he's insurance for the back line. He's not a defender. So how would that work? Wouldn't someone like an Elliot Himmelberg work a little bit better? Who knows? But that to me feels a lot more nitpicky than just outwardly egregiously wrong. So let's start with the first one, that being probably the least egregious, is the West Coast side. And where is Jermaine Jones on here? Because he's not missing. Like, he's not on the missing list. And he's not in the 22 or the 23. It's just incorrect. The drive he was able to generate off half-back was awesome. They looked quicker. He is going to be the speed to Liam Duggan's precise kicking. I understand Hoff there, maybe. I didn't see a lot from Hoff that made me go, he absolutely deserves that spot. West Coast need pace. They're getting younger and younger, which means they are going to need speed on the ball. And look, they're not going to be able to defend the turnover all that well. But fully fit, with their backline fully fit, McGovern, Barris, these guys, it's not going to be as bad as last year. So let's get some pace on the ball. No Jermaine Jones there is just incorrect for mine. Now, you guys know, if you've watched anything to do with my All-Australian opinions, that the guys need to be put in their position. And if you're not one of the best guys in that position, you don't deserve to be there. For example, putting midfielders at half forward that aren't hitting the scoreboard makes no sense to me. And I think the All-Australian team did a really good job of it this year. So when I look at Sydney's team, why the hell is Braden Campbell on a half forward flank? When has he ever been a half forward? Now, I'm not saying Braden Campbell should be dropped from this side. I think he's in Sydney's best 23. But in that spot? Not watching enough Sydney football, are we, Fox? Come on, you've got to be better than that. Braden Campbell is going to be, in my opinion, an elite half-back or at worst wingman. Don't stick him on a half-forward flank because you don't know where to put him. We're better than that. We need to be better than that. Come on. Not good enough. Now, we've got someone that's missing. We've got someone that's in the wrong spot. Let's go through a couple of subs. Now, the one that kind of grinds my gears a little bit because I think it's more lazy than anything else is a debutant as the sub. Now, this could be Nick Watson, but Riley Sanders is the one that kind of annoys me even more because if he doesn't belong in that Bulldogs midfield, having him as a sub makes no sense. Clubs are getting creative with their subs, whether it's guys that can play multiple positions or maybe a little bit more experienced. Not as bad as one of the other ones we're going to talk about in just a minute, but you need to be versatile. Riley Sanders is only really known how to be a midfielder. If he's not a part of that midfield rotation, he's not in the 23. There is nothing wrong with putting him on the bench and having someone else be the sub, but putting him there just because you think he might be a part of the best 23, For mine, it's a little bit lazy, and I think we've got to be better than that. But hey, it's not as silly as having a ruckman as a sub, or one of the top 5 oldest guys in the league as the sub. So if we take ruckman, old, and we both agree that having either of those things is a stupid sub, Todd Goldstein is the Bombers sub. Are you kidding me? Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing, people? We have to be better than this. Sure, someone out there tell me that we are better than this. This Essendon side for the 23 does not look bad at all. It really doesn't. For the best 22. 23, though. Holy shit. Todd Goldstein's not the sub. He never will be. Stop. What are we doing? Come on. You had the good ones. The Adelaide one was a little bit nitpicky. Brisbane, Carlton, and Collingwood, for mine, were fantastic. No issue with any of those. And you had to go rogue in the worst possible way. This is Conor McDonald. He is a half forward for the Hawthorn Football Club. He wears number 31. He has a beautiful mullet. And he's a good bloke. Not that that means a whole lot in terms of the actual footy itself, but he's a very good bloke. So naturally you'd think, oh, for the Hawks, he's at half forward. What a man. Okay, the Hawks have brought in Gunston, they've brought in Chol, they've brought in Ginnivan, they've brought in Nick Watson, although I don't think Nick Watson should play ahead of Conor McDonald. Surely he just gets one of those pine spots. He's not there at all. This is just wrong. Ask any Hawthorn fan. No Hawthorn fan. Now, whilst, yes, he's not one of the first 5 or 6 picked, that's fair. If you don't have Conor McDonald in your 23 for the Hawks, you are not watching enough either Hawthorn or Conor McDonald. And some of you out there very snidely would go, well, you know, who's watching enough of Hawthorn? They're not going that well anyway. That's fair. If you're a fan. If you're a fan putting together your 23, you'd almost be forgiven. For people that are experts, not at all. Not at all. Not good enough. Watch more footy or don't put it out there at all. Conor McDonald is in Hawthorn's 23 every week that he is fit, and I will hear no arguments about it. But the worst one. Now, I know that there is an Americanization of our game, or is seeping in, that fans hate. Hate. There is one thing in the NBA that I hope we can bring into the AFL, and that is the Most Improved Player Award. I think it's an amazing thing. Something that the entire league of just players and coaches can vote on. You can't vote for anyone in your own team. And whilst, yes, some may say not enough players play enough footy, watch enough footy, I should say, I can completely understand that. But there can be a system, or should be a system in place, that we can award a Most Improved Player. And I would argue that that player last year was Mason Wood. North didn't want him. He looked to be just another list clogger at the Saints. And last year, he went nuts. And he's not named on a wing, and Liam Henry is, who, yes, had a good last 6-8 weeks of the year, but did not have a better year than Mason Wood. But, again, sometimes you've got to live with these things. I'm not as big a critic as someone being on the bench that maybe should be in the 18, especially if you're not in the spine. It doesn't really bother me that much. But Mason Wood, the sub? No. Who is giving Liam Henry a game at the Saints over Mason Wood? Who out there is doing that? Because you're wrong. You are just wrong. This is not a matter of opinion. Well, it kind of is. But your opinion's wrong. Opinions can't be wrong, Daz. Yes, they can. It could be your opinion that a clear sky is not blue. You're still wrong. Mason Wood is not the sub for St Kilda. 414 players you had to put into position. I understand that. There are going to be some errors. Overall, I know we're all going to agree and disagree with these things, but for mine, these were just outrageous. What do you think? Comment below. Let me know. New video is going to come out Thursday. I'm trying to do a Monday-Thursday schedule, especially for December, and potentially leading into January, as well as over the next month or so, I won't be living here anymore. I don't know where it'll be just yet. We're still in very much the planning stage, and by we, I mean me, myself, and I. So I've got to figure that out. So I am recording some videos ahead of time. So if there is anything there that ages badly because of modern news, it'll be purely and simply because it was recorded before the news came out. But stay safe, guys. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. I hope you can watch the next video. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to join the Daz Talks Footy family. And I'll see you next time.